This is April 22nd, 2015, Edible Acres. Doing an update here. We're at Edible Acres 2, out to the east of Ithaca. I did a video on this a ways back. This is my $15 or $18 greenhouse, and I thought I'd give an update now that we've been using it quite a bit for this, to get ready for this season. See, it's pretty dreary, nice, moist spring day outside, and not all that much sun, but inside we've got a lot happening, and it has been for the last month or so. After a pretty intense winter, we're starting to get a lot of things going. This is where we've been moving our plants. You know, we start them indoors on either heat mats or near the wood stove. Once they germinate, they go under lights, and then once they're a little bigger, we move them out here, so we can kind of have waves of things coming out. There's a huge amount of diversity of plant life in here. We've got some things that are sown directly into the ground, some spinaches, some lettuces, etc. I've got some little sea kale seedlings in here as well, and these will stay for a little while. You can see little sticks that we have, that if it's going to be, you know, down in the 20s, low 20s, we can put an old piece of wool or a burlap sack over this just to provide a buffer. But I came in before because it's supposed to go down into the 20s, possibly overnight or the next night. So I'm going to bring in some of my Marconi peppers and tomatoes, put them back under the lights. The nice thing is that this greenhouse, like I showed in the other video, is coupled to the house. So if somebody was inside, I could actually just hand them the plants and they could put them back under the lights, which are right over there. The last little while, when we've had sunny days but down in, 40s, 50 degrees outdoors, this place was real warm, and to cool it off and warm the house up, I opened the window, and it sent a lot of heat into the house, offset our heating. But you can see everybody's happy in here, real packed in. And then off to the left here, we've got two totes. One is doing wine cap stropharia propagation. I'm going to bring these with me to a workshop I'm teaching tonight up in Auburn. Just taking a look at them, you can see the mycelium running through there, enjoying the warmth of the greenhouse with this to protect from too much sunlight. And then this one is a bunch of little cookies of mushrooms. I did this in another video as well. Cookies of big tooth aspen logs that were packed in burlap, and they're knitting themselves into the burlap right now. So we got pohu oyster mushroom being propagated and ramped up in a recycling tote, and wine cap stropharia. But then we've got all sorts of things, just to give you a quick idea of the kind of diversity we play with here. Bolivian rainbow, hot peppers. We've got tulsi, ashwagandha, a nice annual medicine that we can grow out, celeriac, bronze fennel, angelica, yellowhorn. It's an amazing little tree. So there's tree seedlings in here as well. Shiso, perennial arugula, different varieties of peppers and tomatoes, Thai basil, kohlrabi, red currants, black currants. These are all cuttings that were taken, that were down on a heat mat in the basement, and once it looked like they were starting to push roots, they could come out into the greenhouse to harden off. Let's see if I pull one of these. Not the best practice, but I think you might get a kick out of this. That is pushing roots. This is just about ready to be potted up, ready for spring plant sales, and then ready for people's gardens sooner than later. So that's a lot of fruit potential. I'm going to ease that back in. Not the highest recommendation to just yank them out of there, but I thought for the video it would be fun. But then we've got a gredi, some kind of interesting saltwort plant. These are goji berries. These are started from the bulk bin at our local food co-op. So now you know my secret trick. I soak them in water overnight, put them in pots, and then 2 months later I'll lift these all up, or now that it is 2 months later, I'll lift these all up and tease them apart, pot them on. We've got our American persimmon seeds and pawpaw seeds that were in the fridge all winter. They got a good soaking. We're put in big pots, and now they're going to break dormancy at their leisure. Once I start seeing them come up, they'll move outside. Real high density carpets of greens, microgreens, that are going to get lifted and set out to the garden. We've got gumi and asparagus, Turkish rocket that's just starting to get up here, beautiful air potatoes. These are a little bit on the tender side, so they're going to move out after last threat of frost. Lemongrass over there, more cuttings rooting on and finishing off so they can get ready to be potted and set out. More celery, some parsley, Hibiscus. Basically, as many different plant families and types of plants as I can possibly get in here, we've got in here. And again, this is a space that cost $15 to $18. You can see some old trash reame that I packed in the slits over there so that there's not too much airflow. But this is still a space that's loose enough. I didn't really pack up in the top, which is nice. On a hot day it ventilates, but on cold nights it does get cold in here. So it's a great holding space, hardening off space, protected from winds and rain. I water with some pond water from some of our water features. In fact, you can see I've got a couple buckets out here, and I just walk them over to our garden. We'll do a more thorough tour soon, but we've got a pond right there, pond in the far corner. I'm also doing Stropharia propagation, and a pond over here. When I say pond, I mean hand dug means tiny, but a pond nonetheless. And so I fill these buckets and then fill a watering can and water this stuff. And you can see, very simple little structure, little white oak battens on the outside. This held up to our winter where we had, 2 to 3 foot snow loads. I tried to sweep it off periodically. If we get 2 seasons out of it for $18, I'd say we're doing great. Even if we get 1, I'm happy. You can see we've got other similar type structures. That's a pallet structure with old greenhouse plastic on it, and we call this the dulcich, which is another similar thing. This is probably a 50-cent solar doghouse. You can see it says dulcich on the front. For some reason, one of these pallets said dulcich, and our dog Myrtle loves that. On a sunny day, you can't get her out of there. And that's just a couple pallets, some metal wire. Same deal with the batten strips and some old greenhouse plastic. And that's our shed. That's about $1, maybe $2 in parts for the used pallets, and then old trash greenhouse plastic. So is this the cleanest aesthetic in the world? Maybe, maybe not. But aesthetics be damned in a way. This is functional, and this is reusing stuff that's around, that's headed towards the waste stream, and growing a tremendous amount of plants. A lot of actual financial value in there as well, with the hardwood cuttings of currants, black currants, those sorts of things, and some of these rare trees. And you can see that's how you close it. Just a piece of wood that was screwed in most of the way, but not all the way. And that is our inexpensive greenhouse a little ways on. I have to get another camera one of these days. This keeps blurring out on me. Thanks for watching, and hope you have occasion to build something really simple and inexpensive for yourself that serves you well. Take care.